Hi guys, and welcome back to World of Tanks, and this is the video that was supposed to go up last night, but I was feeling rather unwell. I do feel a lot better today, still not 100%, and this was, well, I was hopefully going to get this uploaded this morning, but it is a bit late, but fingers crossed, should have another video for you later as well to make up for the lack of it yesterday. So, it's going to be a fairly quick one. It's artillery. Yes, I know, you can stop groaning. I don't normally play artillery, and I do refer to them as scumbags. Nothing, harsh, really. It's just a bit of a joke. And as I think Jingles has said before, if you can't take a joke, don't play artillery. Because, yeah, people just leave you to die most of the time. It's not very often that Artie will get any help. However, I did have this one recommended to me, the US Sexton I. Now, there is a UK Sexton I, but there are some slight differences. A very small difference to the frontal armour. This has a bit of a larger patch of slightly thicker armour on the round, a bit on the front. Apparently, this is based on the Ram 2, if I remember rightly. But it's the rate of fire and the accuracy that are so special about this, and it is one little mean son of a bitch artillery. And it is the most fun artillery I have ever played. It is, like I say, fantastic rate of fire and very accurate artillery as well. But we'll have a quick look at it in the store first. Now, I picked up the base bundle, which is 1,700. In the Tankopedia, it lists it as 1,250. But you get a garage slot with it as well, and obviously the shells. So that makes up the extra gold that you are paying for it. Like I say, the shells and the garage slot. If you really, there's the 2,200, you get 3 days of premium with it. If you're really not bothered about the premium, get the base pack, stick the equipment on yourself. That's what I've done. I don't think it's too much for this. We'll just have a quick look. Oh, it's 210 for the shell rammer and 350. Well, a little bit more. Now, I've only got 2 pieces of equipment on it, but we'll cover that in a minute anyway. Right. The gun itself, well, it's an Ordnance Quickfire 25-pound howitzer, 8 rounds a minute, which is really good. 44 pen on your standard ammunition, which are HE, 280 damage. Now, you have 2 types of armor-piercing shells with it. You've got your premium ones, 92 penetration, 180 damage, and your sort of normal ones, 71 pen, 180 damage. Now, it seems, with the premium rounds, you have a lower firing arc. So obviously it doesn't fire as high up into the air. And I only noticed it because I was trying to, I was aiming at a heavily armed target. My HE weren't really doing anything. Switched the premium ammunition, and all of a sudden I couldn't hit it because it would have hit this hill that was in the way. So they do seem to have a lower aiming arc. Really good aiming time, 5.1 seconds, and accuracy 0.47, which is phenomenal for an artillery. The UK, when I can get my words out, Sexton, I think has an accuracy of something like 0.78 or 0.71, something like that. It's 0.7 something anyway, so fantastic accuracy, and it's actually more accurate than some of the tanks down at tier 3, and in fact some of them even higher up. So there you go. But they are the main differences between this. It's got a slightly faster fire rate than the UK Sexton, much better accuracy, and even a faster aiming time than the UK Sexton, and that's what makes it such a brutal little artillery. The fact that it is accurate, you will hit 99% of the time, whereas a lot of the other artillery, it could be sort of 50-50 or 60-40. Yeah, you hit most of the time with this, if not all the time. It's not very often you'll miss, and if you do, normally it's down to you. And obviously the aiming time and the rate of fire, it just catches people out and you can just punish them. Traverse of 24 degrees a second, gun traverse 20 degrees a second, 360 metre view range, which isn't bad for tier 3, so towards the higher end of the sort of average. Very poor signal range though at 395, although that hasn't really caused me any issues as of yet. Equipment wise, well, I've gone for the shell rammer to increase that rate of fire, and the gun lane drive to basically just decrease the aiming time. Otherwise, I don't know, I've not even put a third one on, maybe a camouflage net, although I have been considering a spore liner, which may help possibly just prevent you from getting one shot by enemy artillery, but I'm not too sure. I might put one on and let you know in another video if I remember. Right, shell prices, 83 for your standard high explosive, 2,800 for your premium armour piercing, and 83 for your standard armour piercing. Skill wise, well, I'm not really familiar with RT, and I'm building up a crew. I think I might carry on down the American artillery line. I got to the tier 6 ages ago when I first started playing the game. I've got Sixth Sense, I'm going for camouflage. Other than that, well, I don't know. Brothers in Arms probably do that one up. I'd say you more than likely you want to be going for your camouflage skills. I mean, you do generally have a good rating anyway. Snapshot, I wonder if that'd count. I don't know. With it not being a turret and being a gun, it might count. But yeah, I'd possibly like to say Brothers in Arms, maybe Snapshot, and just sort of your general camouflage skills. Like I said, I'm not particularly skilled with artillery or used to them to cover the skills yet. Now, armour wise, well, it's not a lot. In fact, I've not even got the proper figures, I'm afraid. That's something I haven't brought up with this one. Sorry, I was just looking for my thingy. But then again, there's no, that sounded wrong. My phone, that's what I meant, so stop giggling. There isn't really a lot of armour to speak of. So, I mean, I have bounced a few shots, but like I say, there's not really loads to speak of. Concealment, 0.21 while stationary, 11 while 0.11 while moving, 40 km/h top speed, reload time 7.5 seconds, that's without equipment. But you've got a 400 horsepower engine with a power to weight ratio of 15.49, which is ever so slightly increased over the UK one, which I think is 15.11. Forward top speed 40.2 km/h, reverse 12 km/h, and a fire chance of 20%. We've covered the accuracy and everything else. Maximum range 10,000 meters. Well, elevation 40, depression -9, which is, I think, pretty standard for your artillery. The elevation depression seems as though it could be slightly better than most. Like I say, 24 degrees on the hull traverse. Terrain resistances not brilliant, 1.3, 1.5 and 2.5. Although something I have noticed, it does have quite a wide gun arc on the front, so you don't have to move your hull as much. Radio just in there, ammunition blocks at the back, and there's all your crew members, commander up that way. There's not a great deal to cover, like I say, with artillery, because generally you're going to get shot, you're going to get killed. As you can see, your armour is 5170 on that frontal bit there. That's the thickest part of the armour, and I have taken a few bounces off there. 31 to 50, well, it shows your gun, it shows your hull, and it actually shows for 21 to 30 is the floor of the hull. 1 to 20 is basically the rest of the artillery itself. Like I say, there's not a great deal to really talk about with the armour on an artillery. They generally don't really have much, but like I say, I have, you know, bounced the odd shot, especially when you're top tier and against some of the tier 2s, if you angle it correctly. And I think that's about it. I will, because I apologise, I will get the actual armour figures for one of the replays. I was a little bit unprepared for that one, so that's my fault. I'm going to blame the illness. But it plays up to tier 5, so it doesn't get preferential matchmaking. And I think that's about it, really. So we'll get into a couple of replays, see how it actually works. And yeah, I think that's about it. Right, so here we are for the first replay. I've only done 2 for this one because, like I say, artillery isn't normally the most exciting to watch. It's Wide Park in the rain. It's a encounter battle, and it's a tier 5 match, so I am bottom tier in this one. Now, the armour values, the standard figures, 51 for the front, 32 for the side, and 38 for the rear. But as you saw in the armour viewer, that is basically for the hull, not the upper superstructure, which is normally the case for artillery and some of the tank destroyers as well, like the FCM 36 Pack 40. The premium details, which I did forget, you get a 35% silver bonus and a 60% XP bonus, which is quite nice, so it does make quite a good artillery crew trainer. Now, what I'm doing here is just keeping an eye out for anything breaking or any tracer fire. You know, the kind of people that like to shoot at each other at the beginning of the match. Well, when they do that, you give your position away to artillery, which is quite nice. I missed on that one, but again, that was down to me not leading the target enough. And this is generally why artillery isn't very exciting to watch unless, well, unless shit hits the fan. because, you know, when things go wrong and you're having to go around tank destroyer mode, shotgun and everything, that's when it gets a bit more interesting. Now, I can't get those guys over there. And again, I don't really play artillery. I've not played it for a while. When I first started playing the game, I got up to tier 6 on the Americans. I got to the... Is it the S51? The Russian one after the KV2. But obviously went through the KV2 with that. Not had it for a while, so I'm kind of trying to remember where to sit on the maps to get the best sort of places and, you know, the best shots. Now, some of the artillery do have, you know, a higher shooting arc than some of the others. Like Bert, for example, has a very high arc, and you can almost, you know, hit things on the other side of the building from you. But the sort of downside to that is they normally have a reduced range. And just because a tank's not there doesn't, well, just because a tank's not showing as there doesn't mean he ain't there anymore. And when we're tracking him, it was worth risking another shot. You see, he might have burnt his repair kit, but with this, generally, if you track a tank, they are not, unless they burn a repair kit, they are not going to get their tracks back up before you hit them. And did I miss that shot where I was aiming for one that was sat in the cap circle and actually missed and hit the other one? I think I did. That was quite a funny shot. But I'm going to concentrate on these guys over here. It was looking a bit sparse on this side of the map as far as our team's concerned, and it looked like they could do with a bit of a hand, although I wasn't quite in time to save that light tank, which was a bit unfortunate. But I was hoping that that guy was still going to be fumbling about on the tracks there, so that was quite lucky. And now again, just got to try and support these guys as much as they can, but like I say, most people, if artillery's in trouble, they do tend to just leave them. You know, they'll not go and try and save them, but like I said in the garage, can't take a joke, don't play artillery. And that was lucky. I thought I was going to miss him because he started pulling back again, but thankfully I was fortunate enough to actually hit him. And now it just seems to be a case of really mopping up. You know, our teams, they've been doing quite well. I've managed to get 4 kills, which is nice. I didn't think I'd hit that arty there, though. It was a bit of a hopeful shot, and I was just trying to gauge where he might be coming out. But again, no, it's not going to hit. So we're coming towards the end of the match now. I've managed to rack up 4 kills in my little tier 3 arty in this tier 5 match, which I'm quite happy with. And we've got a Gilsenpanzer hiding, playing definitely arty cautious, hiding around that corner. And I know we've got another artillery somewhere, and I know he was sort of up this way. There he is, and there's the other tank destroyer, although it does take me a minute to register that they've popped up on the map. Yes. Ooh, should have waited for that one a little bit more. Wait for the aim. There we go. And that's the Hetzer dealt with. Artillery was over this way somewhere. There he is. I might have got my aim slightly off though. Watching for the tracer, and hopefully that should just finish him off. And luckily it did, and that's my top gun, which is always nice when you are bottom tier. And now, yeah, just a case of trying to take out that Gilsenpanzer, but I'm not going to be able to hit him from here. So I am going to have to move up and reposition, and that's one of the things that, you know, I'm not criticising arty players. I don't play it very often myself, but it's one of the things that I have seen a few times is artillery. You know, there is a portion of artillery players that simply go to where they want to sit with their artillery, and then they will not move. If they can't get a shot at like the last tank on the map, or, you know, if they can't get shots at anybody that's left, they just don't seem willing to actually move from where they are, and you know, they'll just sit there. But you are going to have to relocate in artillery to get the shots that, you know, you can't normally hit. Or, you know, if it's down to like there's only half the enemy team left and they're all on one side of the map, you know, and there's a big mountain, move. You just move to try and get a shot at them. And yeah, just a case of seeing who can get there to take out this gup and try and farm a little bit of extra damage. You know, I've got the chance that he could potentially one-shot me. They do 110 average damage. I can't remember if it actually gets up to 160, which is the health point to this. But there is the potential there to one-shot me, so I do have to be careful. But in the end, he gets taken care of just as I swing round to bring my gun to bear. But you'll see what I mean with the rate of fire and the accuracy. It is such a mean little artillery, and it's the most fun artillery that I have played. And you know, I got up the Germans, the GW Tiger P. I was in the S51 for the Russians. Admittedly, I didn't go through them, the others, but I you know, got up to the tier 6 and the Americans, and this is definitely the most fun. Oh, and obviously I had Bert as well. Got up there, but I got a high caliber. And it, like I say, it's always nice when you get a result like that in a, you know, in a tier 5. Well, say a tier 5 match when you are bottom tier and you know, nearly everything else is 2 tiers above you. It is very, very nice. Right, so here's the second replay. Mountain Pass, standard battle, and this time it is a tier 3 match, so I am top dog. And there's not many tier 3s in here. There's only 3 or 4. Now, Mountain Pass has always been one of those when I did play artillery. It's one of those that is quite difficult to find. You know, you're not going to be able to shoot everywhere on the map from any position, and it's the same with a lot of maps, but I did find this one a bit more difficult. Not so much starting at this end, but starting down in the south. I generally don't really have much idea, or never did, where to go and sit in artillery. I normally ended up just going up that hill just in front of the cap, but I just found that not to be a particularly good area. And if you've got the range, you are better off sitting as far back as you can, right in the corner, and then it's not too bad. You can hit a bit more of the map, but you are better off in something with a lot higher aiming arc, or a lot higher firing arc, should I say. And this one did seem to be one of those games where, you know, where you're just always that little bit too late. You know, you start to aim, you're waiting for the shot to aim, and then all of a sudden, boom, they're dead. Or you fire your shot, and you know, that guy didn't quite die, but it was very close to it. And it did seem to be one of those. They are quite frustrating occasionally. You know, when your team's really efficient, and you don't even get the chance to do anything. Managed to get a good hit on the Su-76I, and that didn't even penetrate. That was just splash damage. And that one, I don't think that one hit. That hit the floor and splashed him, so he was very lucky and pulled back just at the right moment. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to get a shot at him now, so I'm going to try and work back on the other corner. See if I can get some of these, and it's just waiting for that aim time. I took a risk there because it looked like he was going to die, and indeed he did, but I missed anyway. Now the T2 medium doesn't seem to be moving as much, so no. Fired and missed. And again, a lot of these times it's my fault that I'm missing. Or it's the enemy's fault for not sitting still. How dare they move? Don't they know I'm trying to kill them? I didn't really want to take a shot at him because it just seemed a bit of a waste, but at least it's one less gun shooting back, and see if I can finish off the Su-76I. I'm getting a bit overconfident. Well, not overconfident, a bit confident there. Not even waiting to see if I hit him. Now I've got another little T1E6 PS. Now I've been seeing a lot more of these recently. And I don't know if it's just because I've been playing in the US Sexton and obviously been down here, but I have been crew training in my T127. And I seem to be seeing a lot more of those than I did do before, so I don't know if they've been giving them away again as new tanks in a sort of starter pack or what, I'm not too sure. Now I've had to come off the top down view because I've seen there's a light tank coming up on my right flank, and that's another thing I can recommend as well when you're playing RT. Don't sort of, it's very easy to get lost in your top down world. Do pay attention to the map. Now I'm not going to bother aiming through the thingy, I'll just lock on because the accuracy, like I say, 100 meters, 0.46 is phenomenal for the artillery. It really is. It's just a lot harder to lead a target when you're just locking onto and aiming like this. But I managed to one-shot that guy down there. I'm taking bounces from something over there, but that's because I'm at a decent angle. And he has a very small caliber gun, so he's not overmatching my armour. And I'm just trying to get rid of this M2 light, and I'm trying to wait for when I think he might just sit still. But he's not doing it, so I'll go to the top down view to try and lead him a little bit more. Where is he? And I managed to get him in the end. Now I've got to try and deal with that guy that's been pinging off the side of my hull. But it's seeing him that's the problem because I can't. There he is. And it's another T1E6 PS. Oh. What we've got over there, little M2 light as well. Let's try and deal with him. He doesn't seem to be moving. I'll try and wait for him to stop. No, he's gone. Go for the top down. No, he's disappearing down the hill, so I'll try and get this one. And that's him taken care of. And it, you know, it will one-shot every tier 2 tank that I can think of. And it, you know, if you hit and penetrate, I think you can one-shot just about every tier 3 tank as well. And there we go. We've got 1 light tank left on the enemy team. And I've managed to rack up 5 kills in that as well. 5 hits, 5 kills. Although that can't be quite right, because I'm sure I hit that SU-76 as well. No, because a couple of those were splashed, so I think that's actually 5 penetrating shots, should I say. And I've just popped down here because I did have a feeling that that light tank was going to come back and go for cap. And my aim was to actually surprise him and shotgun him, but he does veer off and head towards the bridge. I think he's just trying to survive now. Either that or he may be trying to get back to reset cap, but there is a light tank chasing him as well. And it's just going to be a case of whether I can get to him in time before we cap out. There he is. Nope, he's gone. Can I get him on the top down view? No, we've capped out, that's it. And the match is over. We did it! We won! But there you go, that's the US Sexton. Like I say, one little mean son of a bitch artillery. Very good rate of fire, very good accuracy. And it just seems to annihilate its enemies. So if you like your artillery, you fancy something a little bit different, I would recommend picking it up. It has been very, very good fun. But there you go, that's a video that should have gone up last night. I'll be back later on with, I think it's the Churchill review, carrying up the British heavy lines. So until then, as always, take care out there, and I'll catch you next time. See you later.